once you get to the end, for me personally, it's not financial advice, but if I was a person who was just watching, I would think to myself, why am I not stacking more QNT? I get it, guys. It's a lot more expensive compared to other cryptocurrencies out there. You feel as though, where can my money go the furthest? Okay, I get that. For the now, right? In the now, right now, you want to accumulate a lot of tokens, a lot of coins, and so on, right? Depending on what project you're into. But the key thing is this, we talk about what we can accumulate. Well, how about accumulating one that's going to have extreme scarcity in the future? Yes, you better believe that Quant, especially with 14 million, 14 some odd million, tokens, that will eventually get to the point, kind of like also with BTC, where people will what? They're going to have the goal of owning just one QNT, right? BTC, most people don't own a full BTC. They only own like a sliver or, a little fraction of a full BTC. I believe that's going to happen with Quant. So for me, I look at the prices. We saw 97, about a week ago. It's fluctuating in the 100 range. I'm not complaining about that. I recognize it as an opportunity. I think some of you guys do as well. So here we go. Here is the QNT coverage we have. We're going to start off with a video. And again, thank you so much to Quant Papa. This actually comes from Vimeo this time. And we're gonna start off with just the video first. It will speak for itself. I'm not gonna elaborate. It'll speak for itself. Let's go ahead and full screen this. Please smash that like, and then we'll get into my take and my outline here in a bit. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. Here we go.
One of the things we did early on was to establish the ISO standard for blockchain. So that was 2015. I led that initiative while in government, in the Australian government at the time. And now there's 57 countries working together on standardizing blockchain as an ISO standard. Since then, there's been a lot of more initiatives in terms of technical interoperability, policy interoperability. I think the industry is working on it. There will be standards, and there already are standards that are being published. But in terms of CBDCs, what we're seeing is mostly going to be private permission chains rather than public decentralized permissionless blockchains. So having interoperability in the central bank digital currency context means the interbank network between the central bank and the commercial banks, and how they integrate with each other and how they interoperate with each other, and then linking that to the traditional rails.
All right, linking that back to the traditional rails. Try to remember what he said. Now, we're going to jump into what was reported from the BIS. I'm going to hop on the bandwagon, also called the BIS, instead of just Bank of International Settlements every single time, because it just takes a lot longer, right? So let's share this with you. This is straight from bis.org, and it is in regards to Project Meridian. Now, we have covered quite a few different projects when it comes to Quant in the past. Project Hamilton, obviously Project Icebreaker, most recently, Project Rosalind, right? Bank of England, Bank of International Settlements, and especially those two choosing Quant's Overledger. But this is Project Meridian. Why pay attention to something like this that was originally reported a few months ago? We're going to get into all that. It's very important. And if anything, your key takeaway after everything is said and done might give you a broader perspective on some things that you just didn't realize about. Or how about this? Some misinformation. Yeah, you know how misinformation works sometimes. So Project Meridian, innovating transactions with what? Synchronization. Getting into this, as you can see right here, all right, originally cited from Bank of England as well as the BIS, Project Meridian investigates how recent rapid advances in financial tech could deliver innovations in real-time gross settlement, RTGS systems operated by central banks. Now, if you guys have ever watched a proper demo, and I'll come back to the screen, sorry about that, a proper demo when it comes to Quant's Overledger, one of the key things is being able to quickly switch over to, for example, the XRPL and basically settle with XRP through Rtgs with finality very, very quickly. That's a big, big thing, right? And other platforms as well, not just the XRPL. So getting more into this, it goes into this report, and it states that the Bank of International Settlements and the Bank of England, of course, have concluded Project Meridian. Some of you guys already know about this, but the first experiment to be carried out by the BIS Innovation Hub London Center. The project, if you're aware about it, experiments with the concept of synchronization. And again, try to remember that whole concept of synchronization. It's going to be part of the outline. It goes into mention these transactions settle using central bank money, reserves kept by commercial banks in the central bank in an Rtgs system. Again, think about the platform that we're talking about here with Quant's Overledger. Funds are transferred from a buyer to a seller only if a corresponding asset on another ledger, for example, a real estate registry in the project's use case. Again, remember this part about real estate, because I'm going to show you some screenshots here in a second. But this could also be any ledger or registry for other types of assets, such as equities or bonds. Again, that example I gave you about that demo from Overledger. For instance, moves at the same time in the opposite direction, reducing transaction costs and risk, increasing the efficiency. Now this part, this is achieved via a new entity, the synchronization operator, which in the experiment uses distributed ledger technology, DLT, to interlink the central bank's settlement, Rtgs system, with other financial market infrastructures and ledgers, automatically orchestrating the exchange in ownership of funds and assets in a resilient and secure way. What am I referring to here? Well, let's blow this up. So here is some of that synchronous settlement that they're talking about in regards to the central bank money. And you just literally heard in that video what Gilbert Verdian was explaining. That's why one thing I love about Quant Poppy, he just gets right to the point, chops it up, gives it to you right then and there from that Vimeo feed. New ways to settle, fast, automated, and trusted exchange of funds and assets at a lower cost in a safe way. Think about it, right? It's got to be immutable. It's got to be trusted. How these are achieved, digitizing the transaction. There's, the synchronization. Ledgers, and listen to this part, interlinked with the new synchronization operator. Who could that operator be? You guys aren't dumb, right? Think about it. It's not rocket science. Transparent transactions, information aligned across all actors involved in the transaction with what? Live status updates. Open standards. Gilbert's always talking about those standards, right? Literally created the standard for ISO TC 307. Inception was 2015, realized in 2016. Innovation, automating the payment opens up opportunities to enhance the entire transaction process. Going further down into this, a little bit more about that synchronization. Using central bank money eliminates such risks as counterparty failing to do what? Hand over ownership of an asset, settlement risk, for instance, or payment not being completed. It can also reduce complexity and liquidity costs by cutting the amount of time and assets needed to be reversed for a specific transaction. One example is the management of escrow accounts, which temporarily hold the buyer's funds in a neutral third-party account. All right, what about Meridian real quick? Well, Project Meridian demonstrates the potential, like it's shared here, to improve the functioning of existing financial market infrastructures with new tech such as DLT. As central banks periodically update their settlement systems, the project's insights will support the analysis of synchronization benefits and shape how that serves should be designed. Now, jumping in a little bit more into what we have, check this out. And here is some key highlights from the one and only Quant Papa. And if anything, I will get back out of the frame on this one. And as you see right here, this is mentioned, and we'll show you the video. And this guy, right, you guys are already familiar with him. He states, Gilbert has really has been really important on this in this. He's a sort of an important participant with Quant and providing inputs. Literally, it says Quant. All right, let me jump back into the frame. getting a little bit more into this. So I'm gonna share this. Here's the video, because I know like you guys love to have some of these videos. Who doesn't? Let's go ahead and play this. Here we go.
So experiments are hugely important to us. We've done a bunch already. So we've done 2 with the Bank for International Settlements. You have a London Centre project, Rosalind, and Project Meridian. Meridian has was focused on housing, just recently been published. Rosalind should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. It's focused on central bank digital currency. I mean, Gilbert has been really important in this. He was a sort of an important participant with Quant providing input. We're also looking at offline payments with Thales and Sample Wallet with Kin and Carter. So these are really important to us. We've got a bunch of these experiments going on. But we've also run tech sprints and workshops alongside with some really important and really major participants actually helping us think about the use cases. So I think those BIS experiments have been hugely important, really valuable, and watch this space, the Rosalind report coming out shortly.
And but who basically is that guy, right? For the Bank of England. So here's the key thing, right? It's kind of funny how he mentions it, like, oh yeah, there's this Gilbert Vertering guy, and yeah, there's like Quant, and I mean, like, what a way to explain it, but nonetheless, I'm paying attention. All right, a little bit more of what we have in regards to this Q&T outline, because I'm not just going to end it right there. I want to show you this, and remember I said pay attention to the part about real estate, right? Remember I said that earlier? Well, check this out. Let's go ahead and share this. And I think it's full screen on this one. That's okay. This part's really good. When was this reported? July 17th, not that long ago. Real estate tokenization where BRICS meets blockchain. I did a piece about that, right? Yeah, straight from the Quant Network site. How about this next one? Digital twins by the Quant editorial board. When was this reported? Well, literally on August 21st, a few days ago. So on this one, and I'll come back in the frame on this, I want to show you guys this because this is well worth sharing. And it does come officially from the Quant Network. I'll show you this. And when we get more into this, it has, of course, a few key things. Now, one thing I love about the Quant site is you can actually go to the very bottom for the newest news, and it will give you some of that newest news, right? So when I go here, what was that on that last date? Let me just verify it real quick. So it talks about digital twins by the Quant editorial board. Was tagged developers, digital twins, and enterprises. When I go here, let me see here. This was something that was taken off, and they do this every now and then. Here's the proof. Let me show you guys the proof. All right, so even I myself, right, when I came out with that big news, I'll keep in the full screen here. Remember when I came out that news about Overledger going public, and I was basically forced to take it off until they were ready to properly release it? They reached out to a bunch of content creators, right? So here at the Quant Network, you go all the way to the bottom, and basically speaking, you click on the news section. This is the new page. You go here, and just to go back to what we showed you earlier, just as proof, look what's cited here. August 21st, digital twins. You go here, you don't see that anymore. Right. It was taken down. Will I get in trouble for this? I don't know. I mean, nobody reached out to me and said I couldn't do this, but that's very interesting. They do this from time to time. Right? I don't know if it's because of NDAs and so on. But again, I mean, it just mentioned digital twins, but the point is if we would have clicked on that, it would have opened up like Pandora's box of all the information. But nonetheless, anyway, I wanted to bring that to you just to kind of pound it home in regards to that. Getting back to what I want to show you guys, just a second. Where the heck were we? Oh, I want to show that tab instead. Sorry about that. Here's the proof, if you will. All right. See? Don't have that there. Been literally erased from the site. See? Because otherwise it literally would have said August 21st. And again, going back, top left. You get where I'm coming from. All right. I'm going to share this with you guys. Come back into the frame. This is good stuff. The BIS, Project Meridian, simplifying transactions through innovation. Now, there's, of course, a few or a lot of slides here. But again, also Bank of England's on here. He gets into all this stuff about Project Meridian. I could, we could be here for like 2 hours, right? I don't want to do that. You don't want me to do that. Maybe some of you guys want me to do that. I don't want to do it tonight. Again, remember this part right here, and I think you guys do see it. Synchronization builds on the existing concept of interlinking what asset ledgers with who or what Rtgs, as in real-time gross settlement systems, seeking to develop functionality that allows synchronized settlement, yes, settlement, just like Gilbert Verdine was talking about, and central bank money for a wide range of assets. Now, I'm going to jump into the highlights, and I love Quant Qnt for doing this. Check this out right here. So, Project Meridian builds a technology prototype for synchronized settlement, experimenting with the complex process of buying a house as the first use case, sections 4.1 and 4.2. Remember the slide that we showed you earlier that was right from the Quant Network talking about real estate? Why would I just show that to you for nothing? The Meridian prototype will allow real-time gross settlement system operators to understand how they could offer synchronization functionality to settle a single transaction or a chain of housing transactions simultaneously. Don't you think that's bullish in itself? I think it is. Now, getting a little bit more into this. This is the extended deep dive juicy stuff that Quant Qnt does, and he's just laser focused. Like I always said, this guy's like a freaking AI when it comes to quant research. This is from Quant Qnt, if I'm pronouncing that right. One view across the what? The property transaction. Don't you love how we make that flow all together? It says, we enable real-time information sharing over a secure network. No new CRMs. Shout out to Mike Cornwell, because he's always talking about, hey, Max, have you seen the CRM? Well, no new CRMs or platforms, just additional functionality. Email less, engage more. Let's introduce this to you, because if anything, it's big, especially if you're a QNT holder, because again, another utility layer that you were not, aware of when it comes to QNT. We did that brief little video about real estate before, but not to this degree. I think I did like a 2-minute version. This is more the deep dive version, but this is big because we're tying everything in together. Project Meridian, talking about Quant's Overledger, this new thing that you may not have even been aware of. Let's go ahead and play this. This is 2 minutes. Please smash that like. Again, thank you for being here tonight. Here we go.
We take for granted that technology has us all connected, helping us become more efficient in everything that we do. But when it comes to the property market, that's not the case. The process is cumbersome, fragmented, and stubbornly slow. Meet Quant Qnt, the digital network transforming the property market. With Quant Qnt, everyone involved in a property transaction can collaborate together seamlessly. Quant Qnt enables you to connect to other property professionals on the network from your existing software. To work with others on the network, you just invite them. Once they accept, you are connected and can start working together in a secure, shared environment. Meaning property information, messages, and documents can all be seen and shared effortlessly. When using Quant Qnt, data never needs to be manually re-entered, and progress updates are sent automatically. Questions can be asked over secure messaging, and inquiries can be made directly from your existing system. And because the data is updated in real time, everyone's on the same page instantly. You can even receive business referrals over the network from other connected users. Quant Qnt's enterprise-grade blockchain technology is so secure, it doesn't just move data. It can enable the transfer of digital identity, digital assets, and even mortgage funds. Say goodbye to endless calls and emails, and say hello to Quant Qnt. Not just a network, but a new way to work. The future of the property market is here at last. Join the network and experience it for yourself. Quant Qnt, creating a better property market for everyone.
All right, just to give you a little bit more to pound it home, right? Because that's a thing that we do. Check this out. Share this. Here's from the appendix of what we showed earlier, right? From that brochure. Project participants and acknowledgements. I'll keep this one full screen just in case, some people are like, this is just all speculative. Oh, I'm tired of this, Max. It's all freaking speculative. All right, check this out. So you have here project participants and acknowledgements. Notice what it mentions here on the project sponsors first, right? Mentions everything from the BIS, Bank of England. All right, project team. John Reynolds from who? Quant Qnt. I pronounced it wrong for the first time. Apologize. There you have it on that. Let's jump into the next part. Come back into the frame for a second. All right, this next one. Maybe I can make this a little bit bigger. Hold on a second. No, can't do it that way. That's all right. All right, so let's share this. And I will go full screen on this one because I can't magnify it. So on this one, it says the prototype. Remember how I said, remember the terms, guys. Remember the terms. Synchronization or synchronized, right? And again, this is referenced from what? Look at the bottom of the screen. From BIS.org, BIS Innovation Hub. The prototype for synchronized settlement uses a housing transaction as a first asset class. Experimenting with this complex transaction offers insights from synchronized settlement that apply to a range of asset classes. It develops, and here's the juicy of the juicy, and it's highlighted. It develops APIs. Who is literally like the king of APIs? Yeah, you better believe it. Quant's Overledger, right? We showed you those charts many times over, God, how long have we been doing this now? Over a year? So it develops APIs that interlink a synchronization operator with what? An Rtgs, real-time gross settlement system, and to a land registry. Both the real-time gross settlement system and the land registry would require additional development to support synchronization. Again, guys, who the heck do you think that would be? Okay. All right. There we go on that. Going to come back into the frame. Let me know what you think in regards to that. So for some of the people, and I'm sure I'm going to get this at some point, that see the thumbnail, especially on crypto Twitter, they're going to be like, well, that's all speculative. Are you kidding me? Do you not see the videos? Do you not see, for instance, it was reported from BIS, Bank of England, and so on. Even during the time that we did deep dive coverage, we talked about, for instance, all of this stuff. And then later on, the confirmations. You had, Augustine of the BIS come out and say, yep, Quant's Overledger, the guy you saw earlier in the outline. Bank of England, yep, Quant. Yeah, yeah, there's this, like, it's funny how you mentioned it. Oh, yeah, there's this guy, Gilbert Verdian, Quant Network. I mean, why are you kind of hesitating? It kind of makes you wonder if it's like, I can't remember. Yeah, NDA. Oh, we're no longer on the NDA. We're cool now. We can mention it now. It's just kind of like they're backtracking. Like, I got to remember. Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy. No longer speculative. That's the bottom line. All right. Glad to bring that to you guys. been a while since we did some Quant. We're trying to keep up with it, right? Anyway.